Matt.
Hey, Mike.
Should we do a check-in?
Yeah. Check up, check in, but don't check out.
Okay, let's do that. Hey, it's Hacking the Grepson. It's your boys Matt and Mike back at you again with a little, we're making a game check-in. So Matt, what have you done since the last time we talked about this? Anything?
A ton, but nothing with the game.
Oh, excellent.
That's not entirely true. I've looked into a couple of game engines,
Okay.
and I have. Well, I think you created a document where
I did.
we can start putting some of these ideas together.
Hey, don't take
and
my
so
part. That's what I was going to talk about.
I added some ideas to that, but beyond just like generally thinking about things,
Yeah.
I haven't done a ton. What about you? Besides the document?
Yeah. I would say the document. I have made a Google Doc, and that is the crowning achievement of the time since we last talked. I'm just going to come out and say it. Life is always happening. I'm still super pumped to make a game, but it's one of those things where there's just a lot of other life happening, and it's hard to just you can't just drop everything and be like, okay, for the next year, the only thing I'm going to do is make a game with Matt. Making a game with Matt realistically is project that I am now including with all the other things that I'm working on and all the other life that I'm doing. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's normal, and I think that's to be expected. One of the things I know is true for me and is very relevant to this podcast generally, but this project in particular, is, when I'm working on a technical project, I need deadlines. I need some sort of... Because I will wait until I get the perfect idea or the perfect plan or something perfect before I do anything, which means I never do anything if I don't have that. I need that counter to infinite time to be able to get stuff done. That was, I think we talked about it on one of our previous episodes with writer's block or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I was just like, get into a state of just not being able to do anything. And then, busyness. If I don't have a deadline, guess what gets prioritized? The stuff that does.
Yeah. I know we've talked about deadlines on an episode before and how they are very helpful. Although it's one of those things where in my work, at least as a software dev, at least in the industry that I've worked in, which is mainly education, although there was a time when it was in the private sector for a while, the concept of a deadline, at least for where I've worked, has not necessarily been a thing. I have tasks and we have checkups and meetings, but not necessarily your task must get done by a certain point. It's more like if bugs come up, those get prioritized because hey, something's not working, fix it. But anything that's a feature or just a general improvement is really just, when you can get it done. And then we talk, once or twice a week and say hey, how's the past week going? Sort of like we're doing right now. Just what have you been able to get done? Not did task A, B, and C get done?
Some accountability though is there.
No, I agree.
With that, with that check-in.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we have those check-ins because, not only is it good to just find out generally how's it going with your team, but also, I think the point of them is hey, are you having trouble with something? And do you need help? And this is the space to bring it up. Actually, I find that especially depending on how many people are on your team, those check-ins, if you actually have stuff you need to talk about, are not long enough.
Yeah.
It's really more hey, yeah, I'm working on X, but I'm having an issue, and I'll get back to you when I fix it. Not let's spend the next half an hour fixing that issue, because there's just not enough time. But the one thing I did make that we can talk about is I did make that Google Doc because, when you're working on a project, especially with someone else, it's good to have something to refer to. This is obviously not a technical specification for our game, but it's more my thoughts on making a game written down, because I definitely find that, I get better at things, not only by talking about them, but also by writing them down.
I think the way you broke this document down is kind of telling of where we are in this process, which is we don't know what we're going to make yet.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's kind of a couple of things that, before we dive into the document full on, that my takeaways are that we need to figure out both what we're doing and how we're going to do it, right? And I think this is an exercise in what we're going to do is what's in this document. But I think also how we're going to do it is going to become important to know as well. So it might be that might be the other side of things that we can move ourselves forward on, because that what we're going to do is going to be somewhat fluid until we really sit down and like, okay, we're building a game that does exactly this. Here's all the game design we just did, blah, 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 which honestly probably isn't the way it's going to happen. It's probably going to end up being like, okay, something along these lines. And then we start noodling around in the different programming space and being like, oh, I liked this. This was fun. This came out really nice. Let's try that.
Yeah, I mean, I think besides making a document like this, which was really kind of a brainstorming thing, what gets me in the creative space to make something is often just using other creative projects. And so, like, I can think of two kind of game experiences I've had in the past couple weeks that have kind of informed, like where my head is as far as direction for something like this. Not the scope, definitely not the scope, but the direction. And so those two things are, I started playing Fallout 3 again, like regularly. I've started several playthroughs of Fallout 3, but I started one that I'm actually like kind of seeing through, and I've put a good, like, I don't know, 10, 15 hours into it. I haven't actually really played through that game in a long time, but just playing that game for a while has like made me think of like what I love about games and like what I want to see in a game that I'm a part of. And one of the first things is like, I remember when I first booted up that game back in, I don't know, the mid 2000s when it came out, was the theme song that played. The music in the earlier Fallouts was great, but very ambient. It was, I forget what the guy's name is, Mark something, but he made a lot of ambient tracks, which were perfect and fit the kind of mood and theme for those games. But this one actually starts... What's that?
The vibe.
The vibe, right. It sets the vibe for like, oh, I'm in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's kind of mysterious. It's very deserty. But Fallout 3 starts out with a very orchestral theme, and it has like a very strong melody, like dun dun dun, with like horns and like a full orchestra. So it was, like quality up, like, it kind of felt, like that sound in all of Christopher Nolan's films, the doom, that's very iconic with his soundtracks.
Bwong.
Yeah, the bwong.
Yeah.
It like, I remember I just sat and listened to that theme and let the title screen cycle for a while when I played that. And that is something, I think Breath of the Wild also has a similar kind of feeling that like, you are going on a huge grand journey, and man, it's like the kind of thing that like the first page of a book really gets you sucked in, or the beginning of a movie.
There's a very specific moment in Breath of the Wild where you exit that first cave. It's like taught you basic movements, and you come out and it shows you Hyrule.
Yes,
because you're like up high, and it plays the theme song, and then the title comes up, and like, but like that moment is like, holy crap, I want to play this game.
Right. Yeah, I remember even much lower fidelity, but the original Final Fantasy for the Nintendo did the same thing. When you first started, you kind of had a tutorial area, and you even fought a boss, Garland, in this like nearby castle. And then when you beat him, you go across this bridge out of the first kind of like peninsula to like the bigger world. But when you cross it, when you go on one certain cell, like a little, mini transitional thing comes up, and it does the title screen, and it plays this big fanfare, and you're like, oh, okay, so now the game is really beginning. Like, I'm in it now. Very similar. And those kinds of moments in games that like feel like they earn them, because Fallout 3 has the same thing. You spend the first, I don't know, hour of it in the vault, but then you leave the vault.
You're a baby.
Yeah, you're a baby, and you grow
if I remember
up
correctly.
and then you leave the vault. And then there's the like, oh, here's the actual game. That was just the safe tutorial,
I think one of the things I really like about that kind of stuff, where it all of a sudden opens up and shows you the world, is one of the things I really dig in games is seeing something and wanting to go to it. I know that sounds dumb, but like Breath of the Wild was one of the best games for that for me, because I'd be like, I want to go see that thing, and I would just go to it, and I could climb up and like, oh, I can't get to it yet because I can't climb that far, or oh, there's a scary monster in the way and I can't kill it yet.
Yeah.
But like, I want to go there. That looks interesting. And one of the first things you have on your Let's Make a Game document is exploration and goals. And to me, that's huge. That's one of the things I think we've talked about Myst before and how it never really grabbed me. And I think that was the thing. I'm like, I didn't really know what I was doing in there. There was nothing that I was like, I want to go see that. It was like, here's a path. But I think apparently there was a entire like vignette at the beginning that shows you that you shipwrecked and stuff, and I missed that.
Yeah, that was
probably
kind of
because it was
important.
pirated.
Well, but I mean, like,
But like having that is big.
yeah, and that's an interesting comparison because not only is the technology different, because the original Myst was basically a slideshow.
Yeah.
So it was a bunch of still images that you kind of navigated through, whereas Fallout 3 and all the games after it and the Breath of the Wilds and such are a fully 3D world. And so the depth that you can see, what is modeled, things are changing, there's birds flying, you might see like bushes moving, like that those kinds of details I think make the world more interesting and make you want to go to that thing, whereas a still image doesn't quite capture the same thing. No shade against Myst. That's what the technology was at the time. They couldn't pull off Fallout 3 or a Breath of the Wild.
It's just why it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
And I've played it since and I enjoyed it. But like at the time I was like, what am I even supposed to do? Who cares?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
like I need some goal. Like
Yeah.
Fallout 3 does a really good job of that as well.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, you need to leave the vault because of this, or else.
Right.
And like the first town you go to, if I remember correctly, it's like, hey, this bomb's gonna explode or something. Like there's stakes somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But the world itself is interesting enough where if I don't feel like doing the main objective, I can also just be like, ooh, what's that?
Yes.
ADHD simulator.
Yeah, no, I think we're both like right on the same page about those things, although that is a scope issue for our game because those games take many people a long time to make that. I mean, sure, maybe we could just use AI to say, hey, pull in Breath of the Wild and then spit out a new fantasy world, but I'm not really sure that's what I want to do.
Well, one of the things that I've been doing since we last talked, and you'll know this because it involves you, is we are setting up to do a new TTRPG campaign, and I'm using Daggerheart as the system for that.
Right.
And I, in my craziness, have built an entire mythology that doesn't exist in the books whatsoever to justify the world that you guys wanted to play in, right? Which all of you kind of had the Fallout post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Me too. But I mean, we're all like tech nerds, so it kind of made sense that it was like the mothership one. But I actually read through that framework, and I was like, I don't think we want to do that one. But I get the vibe you guys are going for, because I also like that. And so I was like, well, what would the situation be that would create this? And I started like world building, basically. And mythology is a passion of mine. Just like in general, I like reading about mythology, and I love when books create an entire cosmos of gods and like how they come about. And you'll get things like American Gods by Neil Gaiman, where it like explains how the gods work. And Terry Pratchett has some of that as well. And I'm like, that's fun. So I just kind of did that. Probably won't even come into our games. But like I built an entire world setting, and we could absolutely steal my world setting as the like plot thingy, or not the plot, but like the framework for this. And then I don't know, and then actually just create some little tiny piece of it for whatever we want to plan if we wanted to. But like doing that is the kind of thing that grabbed me and made me go, okay, what could we do with this, right? Or what part of this process? I think the thing I talked about with you before was this campaign frameworks concept, where it's like, all right, well, what are the vibes of the thing we want to build, right? So if it's not this thing I just did, which is totally fine because I already have a place for that, what is the campaign framework for this system that we're trying to build? And I think that leads directly into your document. So let's talk about your document.
Let's talk about the document. I try to be really upbeat and title it "Let's Make a Game," Not
with an exclamation point.
let's try to make a game or let's attempt to make a game. Let's make a game.
And it wasn't let's make a game. It's let's make a game.
Right. Let's make a game.
Let's do it.
It reminds me yet again of UFO 50 because one of the games in the collection is called Rock On Island. Rock On exclamation mark island. Not Rock On Island. Rock On Island. Anyway.
Rock On Island.
Yeah. Okay, so I broke it down into a few different sections. One of them is hallmarks. One of them is components. One of them is favorites, ideas, and then you added the disliked mechanics genres at the end that I tried to add to. But apparently I like too many things and don't hate enough things, so I couldn't think of anything.
Well, I'm actively playing a few games that I really like, except kind of situations. And so every time I ran into one of those, I was like, putting it on the list.
Yeah.
Putting it on the list.
I mean,
and you have some of those actually in the hallmarks. You have like some stuff you don't want to do.
That's true. So the first thing on the list is entertaining. Because I remember, because basically I thought about our last episode and I tried to filter it out into the major points that we were coming up with. And the first thing was entertaining. It's got to be fun. I mean, that seems like an obvious thing. Like, why would you play a game that's boring? But also, entertaining is kind of subjective. And what does that mean to us?
Entertaining to us, I think, is what we care about.
I think I'm going to change it to say entertaining in parentheses to us. Because it's
like what it's the kind of thing we would want to play.
Yeah.
Right. Like you made that Dectal game, right? And we all play that every day, pretty much. And like that's cool, right? I want that, if not that to that level, but like just like I want to be like, hey, this is fun,
right?
You know.
And that makes me think of the other game experience I had recently that I've been having is Peak, which is a mountain climbing game. You choose a character. You can play up from 1 to 4 people, and you climb multiple biomes. So basically, you're on a plane. It crash lands on the shore of like an island, and then your job is to escape. And you escape by going forward and up mountains through different biomes, like the shore, the tropics, the either alpine or mesa, the caldera, and then eventually you actually go inside a volcano and climb up the volcano, and you come out the top, and then you get to the very peak, and you light a flare, and a helicopter comes and rescues you, and that's the whole game. It's super fun. It's like an $8 game. It's worth way more than that. It's easy to get into. It has challenge. It has multiplayer, so it's a fun, friendly game. It has achievements. So not only is an achievement to just escape, but also to do various things along the path, both with people and without people. So it was just making me think of like, that game doesn't have the Fallout 3 Breath of the Wild, like amazing theme. Oh my God, I'm going on a grand journey. But what it does have is an easy to understand thing and an easy concept of the run. Because I did put in here that no permadeath, but roguelite okay, which, ironically, I would say that it's kind of an arcade game. Like your player doesn't get better. It is actually a skill check on you. Like, can you physically get better at climbing the mountain? Not does your person make it easier. You do get items to make it easier, obviously, like a rope and things that feed you and make you go faster for a short period of time, that kind of stuff. But I like the easy to get in and understand, as well as the grand journey with a lot of lore, So,
yeah, I totally dig that kind of thing. That actually sounds really fun. I'm probably gonna have to check it out. I'm not a big fan of permadeath because I don't like my time wasted.
Right.
Is really what it boils down to there. It's actually one of the things I don't like about the roguelikes is I start a thing, I put a bunch of time into it, and then it all goes away. Mm-hmm. So as long as I'm unlocking something for future me, great. Not wasting my time. But like I'm at the point of in like let's say Balatro, where I'm not really unlocking anything anymore because I think the only achievement I don't even have is get $100 million in one hand. No. I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but it's not like at this point I'm like, this is dumb.
Are you looking at guides?
So now I'm just playing it because I enjoy it.
Are you
No.
You're not looking at guides or strategy? Because I don't know how you get to 100 million without looking at guides unless you're just
I got to 200 million yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Or not 200, sorry, 2 million.
Okay.
Slight difference there in scope. Just just a couple of zeros in my big O.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I like to figure stuff out myself. So that's training me, right? So I've gotten to the point where like, okay, my deck has all these things. I can do all this stuff. This is cool. I might try playing around with some seeds where I can actually get the things, build the specific decks I have in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's like, okay, I'm getting something out of it still because I'm learning.
Yeah.
Right. At some point I will fall probably down into the system where I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go cheat and read some guides. Because I think you kind of have to, like you said, to get to that one.
Yeah.
But I have everything unlocked except for a few challenges because I haven't done all the challenges yet.
Oh, so I haven't even made it that far in that game. I mean, I've unlocked most of at least the base level like black chip decks, and I've done a few of the colored chips in some of the decks, but I definitely have not done all of them.
Oh, I did finally get the gold chip in one deck.
Wow.
Which was that was most of what I've been trying to do for the last several months.
What are all the mods on a gold chip?
Let's see. So there's permanent jokers, which come in at the green chip, if I remember correctly. Yeah. There's rental jokers. Hate those.
What are rental jokers? You only get them for a few hands or something?
Yeah, and you pay for them every time.
Oh.
No, so there's temporary jokers. Those are the ones that only go for a few hands. Rental jokers you buy for $1, but they cost you $3 every single round or every
time
every ante.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
I hate that because I can never make enough money.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with the permanent jokers, and you're like,
Yeah.
And then there's the temporary ones which go away after like 5 rounds. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I have all these things now, and I found the ones I like and which ones I don't like.
Yeah.
Like I don't like playing at gold because of the rental jokers very specifically.
Yeah.
I find that combined with the other stuff because then it's also the standard like antes are raised and this and that.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all kind of the same thing.
Are you at that level where you'll stop after like a hand or two if you're not getting the jokers you want and restart?
No.
Okay. So you just play through the run no matter what and just do your best every time?
I like the challenge. Okay. And I go into endless mode every time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
same.
How far can I get?
Yeah.
Because I like the challenge because that's challenging me. It's what can I do? Mm-hmm. And then the RNG screws me. So anyway.
Yeah.
We went off on a tangent about permadeath there. Like I don't like permadeath because I don't like wasting my time.
Right. So I think there's a balance to be had with. I mean, I don't think our game should have no death or no penalties, but there should be something that you're progressing through. And the thing about Peak that I wanted to bring up is that they when you do these accomplishments, you get like aesthetic things, like you get like a new hat or a new suit or a new face emoji or something. And as dumb and lame as it might sound, I really like that kind of stuff because it does give you those little wins that really like
it's the dopamine drip.
Yeah, because even if like you don't escape, which is most of my runs actually, I don't escape. If I do like one of those accomplishments and I unlock one of those little aesthetic things that are just fun, that massages the pain of losing. And so I would think that in our game, it would be we would want to have some kind of element like that in it where you do unlock these little wins.
Well, it's my favorite part of most like Metroidvania games is, ooh, I got a new thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that thing is really useful, and sometimes I'm like, But I got a thing is fun, you know? Even if it's just like, I got a bunch of money for killing this boss. Great.
Yeah. And
something. But I love unlocks. Unlocks are very fun.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the hallmarks because I didn't put that before, but I think unlocks. Oh wait, no, I did put there fun, unlockable, aesthetic stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was a game I want to say it was called like Punchy Castle or something stupid like that.
Punchy Castle.
But basically, it was an iPhone game, and you could like your character would just walk from left to right, and the only thing you could do is jump. Basically, right? That you press the screen, he jumped or not, and he would just constantly punching like at a kind of like at a rhythm. And so enemies would pop up, he'd knock them out or get hit. So you had to like jump to dodge. But a lot of the unlocks there were just aesthetic things. Yeah. It's like, here's a cool hat. And sometimes those hats would do something. And it's like, ooh, yay. I'm sure it had a better name than that, but Punchy Castle is what's in my head.
Now, a question about like what makes an unlock, because sometimes I feel like that system can go too overboard. Like you'll get an achievement because you started the game. You got an achievement because you jumped over your first enemy. Like, is that too silly or is that funny?
I honestly am not an achievement person. I find achievements useful as a gamer when I'm in a situation like I am with Balatro right now, where I'm like, cool, I played this game, I've got all sorts of stuff I've done. What can I do now?
What should I do? Yeah.
And here's this insane challenge that I'm never going to be able to do of $100 million in a single hand.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Achievements are fun for that. The other ones, I'm like, but I know a lot of people do dig the ones that are like, defeated 100,000 pygmy elephants or whatever, like in the game.
Interesting.
Vampire Survivor has a lot of those random type things in it.
Yeah.
And those are kind of fun. I don't super care about them. But
I mean,
they're there.
It's interesting because for most of for the early video games, they didn't have that kind of stuff. There was literally no achievements in Super Mario Brothers except
you won or you didn't win.
Yeah, and
you got the princess or you died.
Right, and you got excited for making a crazy jump. That there was no tracker that said, "Hey, you made that crazy jump." You talked about it on the schoolyard with your chums, and they were like, "Oh my God, you made that crazy jump!" Because now we're all connected via the internet, and people know. Whenever I get an achievement on Peak, anybody who's my friend on Steam can see that I got it and when I got it, and so it's like I can't hide my either glory or failure.
I think there's something to achievements. I think people enjoy them. I think it's like a little dopamine drip. It's like a little. It's a little praise, but I don't consider that an unlock. That's just like, it's like an acknowledgement that you did something neat.
Okay. So,
or my favorite achievements are the ones like died 10,000.
Right. I mean, negative achievements are also kind of funny and are kind of like, politely poking you in the ribs about like, hey, we noticed that you did that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're cool with that. All right.
Yeah, and I think that kind of thing's fun. But the unlocks I like are the ones that either do something in game, right? Even if it's just purely aesthetic, that's still fun. But I like ones that give my character that make my next runs more fun, and that could be aesthetically like, oh, look at this silly floppy hat. Every time I jump, it like does this crazy thing. That's so dumb. It could be something like that, or like, hey, now I can jump twice in the air, and suddenly I can reach places I've never been before.
Right.
Both of those unlocks are really useful, and I like them both.
Since you mentioned that both Legend of Zelda and Metroid from the Nintendo were like your two first favorite games, like, do you think it would have been better if you could have unlocked like different outfits for Link or Samus?
No, I never care about that. Like that isn't a thing that would have, in particular when I was a kid, been something that's interesting. Actually, I could see different characters for Samus having been interesting, because you do have that a little bit. Like if you put in Justin Bailey, you actually get like her
instead of the suit.
Zero Suit Samus kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of cool of like seeing playing it in a different style. I also really like, this is disconnected but ties back into your Peak comment, different characters. Mm-hmm. But I only like different characters if they do different things. Super Mario Brothers 2, I still think is was like the coolest thing ever for me on that front. It's like I could be Mario, who was just good at everything. I could do Luigi, who's pretty good at everything, but a little slow and could jump really high. Yeah. Princess, who was very floaty but weak. Toad, who was fast as hell but couldn't jump very far. Right? Like that's fun, because then it's like different challenges of like, I will never play as this character, more than likely, right? Yeah. But I tended to stick to Luigi because I like being able to jump, or Princess because I like being able to jump.
It was now that you say that, it was really ahead of its time, because it was taking like the idea of like fighting games, which fighting games are all about that. Like, who do you main? What character? What moveset do you play the most as? And then they put that into a platformer, which is pretty unusual for the time,
Yeah. And I feel like you get a little bit of that. I'm going to keep going back to Balatro because it's like my go-to game whenever I'm just bored. Your decks are your different characters there.
Right.
That you play as, basically. Mm-hmm. Right? Because the actual cards you can get throughout are the same.
Yeah.
But your core characteristic is different. Vampire Survivor, same deal. You've got all these different characters you can play as. I usually only play as a different character because I'm trying to unlock something.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm always just trying to unlock more characters.
Yeah.
all my characters unlocked. So I have a million options.
Who's your favorite character to play as in that?
I don't even know, because I'm always playing new characters because of that. But some of the early ones, well, it also depends on what I'm trying to do, right? Because there's some that are just like solid characters. I can't think of any of their names, but like I'll usually pick ones that I like their starting weapon.
Yes.
Like, I really like the garlic one,
Yes.
except the guy moves too slow.
Yes. I always choose the garlic guy because I just like the shield. I like to
yeah.
just mow through enemies.
Exactly. It's more fun.
Yeah.
But some of the later characters are so OP that they're not fun to play as.
Oh, the game's too easy?
Unless I'm trying to just like get to some insane. Cause some of the DLC gets a little interesting, like the Castlevania one. So like I might play some of the like really overpowered ones and turn on all the modes that lets me get as much stuff as I want, and to the point where my Steam Deck I can't tell what's happening on it anymore.
I'm going to jump over components because that's kind of more the technical part, and I wanted to go to the favorites, just because. Yeah. So I made a table of some of my favorite games. I was just looking through my Steam list and like looking through not only the ones that I played the most, but just remembering the ones that I like to play. And I said whether I largely played them solo or multiplayer, and then also adding tags of like specific characteristics. I mean, I think I would say
that's what you meant by the solo mode.
Yeah, the majority of them are solo, except for in the last like 10 years with like Astroneer and Raft and Satisfactory and Planet Crafter. Those are all games I played with my wife, and that has really influenced my recent interest in games. Is a game that I can play with someone else, because I mean, those games would be perfectly fine to play by yourself, but I think they're more fun to play with someone to help out, and also to bounce ideas off, and they react to things differently, and then also just it makes the game easier because you can, have the workload, and
plus you get to spend time with your family,
right?
Doing something.
It's a fun thing to do.
And it's not just watching TV.
Exactly.
I would love if I could find games that my family enjoyed playing along with me. They're pretty much just party games.
Yeah. Well,
Jackbox is a big hit.
Oh yeah, Jackbox is great.
But like, I want to play like these kind of games. Sound like exactly what I'd like to do. Action. I used to play Portal 2 all the time.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day.
I also just wanted to draw attention specifically to the tags, because I was curious what recurring tag or characteristic kept coming up in games to kind of like figure out through data. Yeah, the ones that Matt has highlighted in this are the engine building and exploration games, which are, like I said, the Planet Crafter, Astroneer, Raft, and Satisfactory all have this like you're in a world, you're exploring it, you're discovering things, but then you're also like starting a base of some sort and then improving that base and automating it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, one of my favorite games is Don't Starve, which is a survival game, but it's that. And the only thing I don't like about Don't Starve, and also what I turn off in Factorio immediately, is things attacking my base. Yeah. I don't mind there being enemies in the world. I don't want them to attack my base.
Yeah.
That is just annoying. And I don't like in Don't Starve that I have permadeath. I'm like, I want to build a cool thing. Let me go.
And I can't believe I didn't put it on here because I played it so much, but I'm going to put it on here now, which is Subnautica. Which is a solo game, although the original Subnautica has a mod for multiplayer. And I tried to get my wife to play it because it does have an exploration and base building component, but it is also can be quite terrifying. And neither of us necessarily have like thalassophobia or anything, which is the fear of
I don't know.
Which is the fear of like deep water. Like if you look out, if you're underwater and you look out and you can't see the edge of it, that kind of thing.
I did not find Subnautica scary, but I have a weird relationship to horror and fear compared to most people, I think.
Okay.
I could see why it was scary, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But it didn't do that to me. But I remember one of our friends talking about it. It's like, I can't play it. It's too scary.
I mean, it's not it's not like I don't want to play a game that that uses kind of a tension mechanic like that, where
I don't want that at all.
Yeah,
because I want to have fun, and being tense is my default state.
Yeah,
so it's the last thing.
It's weird because it's both relaxing as long as you don't go into the deep waters, because imagine you're you're just swimming around a beautiful ocean and there's tons of sea life, and it's just
It's
like
cool.
looking at an aquarium. But also, if you go too far away from like the shallows, there are monsters that will attack you, and some of them can be quite terrifying.
The tension in that game that I like is self-imposed. It's how far down can I go before I run out of air?
Yes.
Or whatever that mechanic is.
Yes.
It's been a while. But like I like that. It's like, okay, I like self-imposed tension. Like how far can I push myself? Damn, that was my fault. Right?
Yeah. I agree, and that's exactly what I wanted to bring up and about Subnautica, and why I think it works so well that you're base building, but there is also enemies. Because like unlike Factorio, where the monsters are constantly trying to attack and destroy your base, Subnautica is not like
Unless
that.
you turn that off.
Yeah, but Subnautica it's not even like that. So
Yeah, I'm currently playing a Factorio where I've turned off enemy aggression completely.
Nice.
I literally have a train going through.
oh really?
the bug.
Oh,
They're like, that's cool.
So even if you like get near them, they don't attack you.
Yeah, it's only if you hurt them.
Oh, okay.
And then they're pissed.
Which is how it should be, right? Like everything's neutral until you
Yeah.
attack it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, I like stuff like that. One of the common themes I see here in looking at this list, and one that you and I definitely share, is exploration. And I find, I think we talked about this last time, but exploration takes a lot of forms.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I like, hey, what's over there?
Yeah.
Exploration,
Yeah.
right? Fill out my map. Something to me is so incredibly satisfying about filling out a map.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I will spend hours trying to figure out how to get to this upper corner in the Metroid type game. Because I'm like, there's something up there.
I gotta go
Because that
find
map shows that there's something there. I want to go to it.
Yeah.
I find that very satisfying. That's why I find games that don't have a map, but you're exploring, really dumb. I'm like, so what?
Well, I mean,
I'm like, I want to know where I'm
I
going.
mean, that's just pre, map making simulation. Because I mean, that's when people explored the world and they didn't have a map. That's what they did, and it was probably terrifying.
Well, I find it interesting. I think it's Spelunky, where like you're expected basically to have a notebook with you where you're keeping notes and like making. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that while I'm playing a game.
Same with Blueprints, which was a thing that rubbed me the wrong way. Is that it is?
I did do it there, and I got really annoyed about it by the end because I'm like, I don't know what to keep track of.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to keep things organized to save my life. I did so many screen captures.
Yeah.
That was my big thing in Blueprints. I was like, I don't know. Because you can't like waste time going back in that game because it counted your steps. Yeah. I don't like that kind of mechanic at all.
I mean, you talk about you don't like games that waste your time, and that was a large reason why I beat Blueprints. I got to the room 46 or whatever it was, and saw the possibilities of things I had to do unfold. But there were so many time-wasty rough edges on that game that it just wore on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I know those are dice. You don't have to like play a 3-second, text description
God,
every time I pick
yes.
them up. This is my 50th run. It was obviously, it's a great game. It's one of the best puzzle games in the past 20 years, bar none. But it could so use so many quality of life adjustments that were already solved. And they were like decided to not be solved in this game, and I don't understand.
Just
it.
a little don't show again. Right?
Yeah. Like, hey, do you want to keep seeing this? Check this little box. If not, you can always change this in the settings. Like it's solved.
I'm a big fan, and I think we talked about this last time, of just being able to customize my experience. Yeah. Let me adjust the difficulty slider if I'm not having fun with this boss anymore. Let me turn off this animation. I don't like this beepy sound that goes on when I'm about to die. All those things. Just like, let me adjust it.
Yeah.
Let me have fun with the game. That's the point of a game, is to have fun.
Right. And
what you think is fun for me is not necessarily going to be fun for me.
yeah, and that's what
I appreciate there being like a director's cut type default setting.
Yeah.
Right. This is what you should be playing, but let me change it.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned this to you like sometime in the last couple weeks, where it would be hilarious if like we actually let the user, like in some kind of advanced screen, monkey with like literally every variable in the game if they wanted to, because as a developer, that's what I want to be able to do. And so it's always like, go into the settings. What do they let me change? Oh, they don't let me change that. I know that's a variable in the code somewhere. Let me change it.
Well, I think people love modding games. Well, some people love modding games.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't like modding
really?
games.
Interesting.
I want the game to come with the ability for me to edit it myself. If I have to go grab some other person's thing, I have just like an aversion to that, and I don't even know why.
Do you also not like writing notes in a book?
I don't.
Yeah, I feel like it's a similar thing.
I want everything in the game.
Yeah, like it feels like you're somehow besmirching the spirit of the thing by doing that. Although I don't feel the same way about mods. I think there's a difference between physical things and digital things for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think also part of it's I work on a computer all day. Installing a mod feels like work to me.
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to seek out. I hate when, in order to make something work, I have to go change system settings. I'm like, this should be figured out for me. You can tell you're not running at the proper frame rate. Figure out why and fix it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care.
And I mean, those kinds of things almost always come back to like how much time did they have to develop it? What were their priorities? How much money? How many people? Like in an ideal world, yes, all of these things would be handled, but there's always trade-offs, and you have to spend your time doing one thing. There's opportunity costs everywhere. That's just, that you don't have an infinite time to make the perfect game, so you have to make the best game you can, and so.
Let's skip over the ideas section.
Okay, because that's where I was going to go
for a
next, but
moment.
sure.
And let's talk about disliked mechanics. So I did a bunch of these because I'm playing mostly Silk Song is where a lot of these came out
Yeah.
of. I really like them, but then I'm like, I really, really enjoy that game, but I also hate that game so much.
Just a quick aside before you get into this. I played Hollow Knight for like an hour a while ago. I don't know, and I just didn't really get into it. But someone just did a speed run of the original Hollow Knight, and I'm like, ooh, that's a perfect time for me to just bone up on the whole Hollow Knight experience, but done by an expert, just so I can say that I've seen the whole thing. Not only did they beat it in like 45 minutes, they beat it with one hand.
What?
Just one hand on a keyboard. They beat all of Hollow Knight, and it still looks like a really beautiful game, but it does not make me want to play it. I was just like, okay, that was a cool game. They also, you probably know about this, the Path of Pain. Are you aware of this?
I have heard of it.
They did the Path of Pain with one hand,
Never do it.
without getting hit.
I see.
It was
I
insane.
don't have the memory nor the reflexes to be able to do those kind of things, and that's the part that like Silk Song and Hollow Knight kick my butt on is memorizing patterns. I'm very good at detecting patterns, but when there's like a bunch of different patterns,
Yeah.
and they're random about which one is going to do, it's like, oh, this happens, then this happens, right? Recognizing that is one thing, but when it just like randomly cycles through those, I can't remember that. So yeah, the number one disliked mechanic I have on here is Dark Souls like dodge roll, memorize the moveset by dying repeatedly thing. I have this belief that my character should be able to survive without having to have died. Right? They need to be able to beat a boss battle without ever having to die. If the only way to learn is by having died to the boss,
I see, yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to hit me with an instant death move if I step in this spot. That doesn't work. In my mind, that's like just game breaking.
Okay.
It's immersion breaking.
Yeah.
It pulls me out completely. And it's just, honestly, goes back to that waste of time thing. I want to be able to hit like rewind.
I like the immersion breaking, although you just said rewind, which also feels immersion breaking. So
well, in some games it works. Braid, as an example.
but I mean that whole game is built around that concept.
Right. There are I'm like, if I could do that in game, then it doesn't bother me. It's like, oh, you died, rewind a minute.
Right.
Silk Song has a reason that you're coming back. A lot of those games do. The live, die, repeat formula. I still don't like them. Dark Souls is the worst about that. I really enjoyed Elden Ring, except for the part of Elden Ring that everybody likes, which is fighting things. I don't like that part.
Okay.
The other one, and this is my current pet peeve, and it goes along with the first one, is long, dragged out boss fights, where it's like slowly whittling down their health you have to hit them 1,000 times. You can get hit 3 times. That's not fun to me.
Or you get so good, like this person who was playing Hollow Knight one-handed and fought the last boss and might have gotten hit like once or twice the whole thing. I mean, I'm watching. I haven't played the game, so I don't really know how hard it is. But I played enough games to know that was hard and what they were doing was crazy. Yeah. But yeah,
I don't like dodging. I like being able to dash through things. I don't like having to like timing wise roll out of the way.
Ooh, dash versus dodge. I'm going to put that as a hallmark. If we do an actiony game, I like that. Okay.
Let's see what else I have. Multi-stage bosses. I hate these.
Oh,
the one I'm currently fighting right now is not a boss. It's multiple boss. It's multiple characters, but it starts off with like showing you one boss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine. And I start whittling down on him, and then he calls in minions. Fine, that's part of the multi-stage thing. Great, but it's not overwhelming. And then I get him down to a point, and he calls in a second boss. And then I kill the first boss, and the second boss is still going, and he has multiple stages. So now I've been playing this fight just in the one fight. I've died multiple times doing this, but in a given fight for like a good 5 minutes is happening in game every single time. And I get to a certain point, I'm like, oh, no, now it introduced this new problem.
Yeah.
And I just dislike that. And I also don't like not knowing how close I am to winning, although I know a lot of people really like that. But like if I'm fighting a boss, I want to know he's almost dead. I don't need health meters, but show me. Zelda does that really well. Like the bosses start getting like red or whatever.
Yeah, I love games where you're fighting an enemy, especially like I think of the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, the 4-player one.
Yeah.
When you're fighting a boss, like they slowly start changing color or they start flashing to let you know that you've almost gotten them. I love that, and it blows my mind when you're playing a game and a boss doesn't do that. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be more realistic, but it's a video game. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah, the most I get there is they're angrier. Well, that doesn't help me. They're just hitting me more. If I'm one hit away from winning, I want to know that so I can go in and do the take riskier maneuvers. Because if it's I'm gonna waste, oh god, I gotta go do that 5 minutes of battle again. Ugh. I hate instant kills, instant losses, jump in a pit, fall in a pit, and you lost. No, I prefer the old Metroid way. You fall in the lava, it's slowly whittling down your health. I don't like instant death.
So does that mean that you didn't like Super Mario Brothers or games of that ilk?
I do not like that aspect of Super Mario Brothers. But Super Mario Brothers was generally speaking one-hit kills. Almost everything was one-hit kills in Super Mario Brothers.
Unless you had a mushroom. The mushroom or the star. Yeah.
And that goes immediately into the next one, which is the I touch them and get hurt, but they touch me and are fine enemies. That's stupid unless there's a game reason. Like, why do Goombas hurt me? They're mushrooms. What are they doing to me? When I brushed against their hitbox, why did I get hurt? Why didn't they get hurt? I'm a person hitting a mushroom. That seems like it would hurt more. Presumably they're biting me. I don't know. But logically, it makes no sense to me. The spike, I can't remember what they're called, the little red spiky guys.
Oh, yeah. Spinies.
Probably called Spinies. I'm like, they're probably called Spikes or something stupid because it's Nintendo.
The little cloud guy, Lakitu, would drop
those
them.
hurting me makes sense. Yeah. That's great. But there's bosses I'm fighting in this game. I will have stunned them. They're on the ground writhing. They have no weapons or anything that they are hitting me with, and I get hurt. I'm like, you're stunned. You can't hurt me when you're stunned. That's dumb.
I love that point. It's also the kind of things like where you're in a game and you can't jump over like a 2-foot something, even though you can jump,
immersion breaking.
But they just don't let you because that's a barrier. Yeah. Like unnatural, weird barriers that don't make any sense. It's in that same realm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that.
There's a place. You should. Yeah. There's a place in Silk Song where you can't go any further in this direction. And the way they deal with that is the wind is so strong that your character cannot run against it. And I'm like, great. And then she comments something like, seems like I can't go that way or something, Cool. It's not it's believable.
Yeah.
And then my last thing I've touched on a million times, which is wasting my time. Don't waste my time. That goes for slow player characters. I hate slow plotting main characters. Let my character move. I want the freedom to move.
Yeah.
I don't have time to wait for them to get across the screen. Let's go. Rare save locations so that I have to do things over and over and over again.
Ooh.
Or the friggin'
Yeah,
worst.
I'm going to put that for both. Yeah.
Although there's different ways of saving. Like I've noticed some games, if you die, like in the games where you can come back, you die, you lose all your progress.
Mm-hmm.
And in other games like Silksong, Hollow Knight, a lot of times if I get a thing and then die, I still have that thing. And I'm like, okay, that bothers me less, but I still hate the trudge back to like go fight a boss, for example. Just put a save space there.
Yeah.
Doing something I've already solved multiple times. This goes to the multi-phase boss. Great. You have 6 phases. I've already beat the first 5 a million times. Just let me go to the 6th phase and just figure it out. Puzzle games are like that too. If there's a specific puzzle, I think actually Blueprints did this pretty well, right? Where like you solved certain puzzles and they were just solved every time you came back. You didn't have to re-remember this code. I appreciated that. It didn't feel like wasting my time. But there's some games where it's like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. Oh, look, it's this type of puzzle again. I know exactly how to solve this. It just wants me to spend my time doing this thing that I already know how to do, and they know I already know how to do. Don't make me do that.
That reminds me of another game I've played recently. Did you know that they made a new kind of, I guess it's I don't know if it's a reboot or whatever, of Ninja Gaiden? Yeah.
I've heard that.
Bloodbound or Blood something. Really good game. Like, actually quite good. Definitely gives you the Ninja Gaiden feel, because I love that game as a kid.
So you die a lot?
No. Well, yeah, you die a lot on that, but no, I think they tuned the difficulty much better for this version, and it is not like you have to be ultra perfect, because
I love Ninja Gaiden. I hate that aspect of Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, well, Ninja Gaiden was definitely a get good game, but I just think it was tuned, for its time very well. But the point I'm making is not about that. It's about the cutscenes when you fight a boss. You know how
unskippable cutscene.
Older, dumber games that don't think about this. You'll do the cutscene, you'll fight the boss, you'll die, you'll come back, you'll have to do the cutscene, you'll fight the boss. They're smart. They only show the cutscene the first time you meet the boss, and if you die and you start over, they just get right into the action again. I'm like, yes,
I
always
appreciate
do that.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna keep going to Silksong because it's the game I'm playing right now. I don't think they do a wonderful job with that, but they generally do. So you'll have like a dialogue. That dialogue never pops up again, like when you encounter a boss for the first time. But they'll still like say a sentence and then roar at you, and the roar pauses everything while they're roaring and show their name. And I'm like, I don't. Just let me hit you. I run into the room. You're standing right there. Just let me dive straight in and hit you. Don't pause me and then now the battle officially starts.
Don't pause me, bro. Well, that was something that Half-Life was known for doing, giving you exposition, but not freezing your character. Like, you could still move around, at least in
I
an
love
area.
that.
That was smart.
Yeah.
And that came out 30 years ago, so... Okay, so we talked about some things that we don't like, and we have now. Let's spend a little time on some ideas that I put on here, and I want to preface this that most of these came out of a random script that I wrote that basically takes genres and mechanics and throws them together. So don't think that I'm like a complete wild man for thinking of some of these. Computer, blame the computer.
Until you told me that, I was like, "What is wrong with you?" I did add 1 or 2 things I think on here.
Ooh, a darts billiards game that's Balatro-like. That
was an idea I had in the middle of the night last night. I wrote it in our channel, and then I'm like, I should put that on the doc.
I like that.
I still don't know how to make that happen. I don't know what that looks like, but the idea occurred to me. So I did put a couple things on there. But yeah, let's go through your ideas.
Okay, so the first one there was one you told me about, which was a Metroidvania that would be good for mobile because the movement is done through Angry Birds controls. Although I was thinking, sort of like a slingshot or a golf, like an angle of attack and a force multiplier.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. Like, because Metroidvania is a game, like you said, movement on a mobile game is hard to do, and so people have come up with a lot of different ways of handling that, but I don't think I've ever seen that idea. So,
yeah, I really think it'd be fun. I think the biggest problem with movement in iPhone games is that it's weird because your touch is all over the place. But I think the bigger problem is when you have multiple things that you can be doing with your touch controls at the same time, like moving and attacking. That's where the confusion gets in. So if you can combine those into one thing and it's intuitive on the control screen, awesome.
So it would be like, to take that even further, you could really turn like a Metroidvania, which in general traditionally is like an action platformer kind of game where, it's twitchy, like you're moving a character around, and make it more turn-based and less real time, and then you can do whatever you want for the movement, and whether you're moving or attacking, like they can be discrete units of interaction rather than all happening at once.
I think
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and also the other problem with movement a lot of times in games on the iPhone is you cover the screen with your finger at one point, so you can't see what's going on. So all that kind of ended up combining. What's the next one?
So the next one definitely came from the random script, and it is a strategy MOBA, or multiplayer online battle arena, using QuickTime events. So if you think of League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm or whatever like that, I have never been into those games, so this is not something I'm seriously considering, but I thought it was a hilarious random mashup of things, because QuickTime events are like those things in a generally not twitchy game that all of a sudden you have to react to something. Like if you think of those old Dragon's Lair arcade game, that was just a series of QuickTime events where we would play like a cartoon, and then all of a sudden you'd have to react really quickly and press left or right or attack an enemy, and if you missed it, you would die and have to put another quarter in. Yeah. I don't actually like that mechanic and think that's annoying and terrible, but I thought it was funny.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Well, and have you even ever played like a MOBA? I don't think I've ever even...
I think I have played one. I don't think I have played one enough to consider myself to have like really played it. I think someone's been like, here, try this thing out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, the whole lanes and knowing... I mean, like I like real-time strategy games like Command and Conquer and Warcraft, and this feels sort of like an esportsification of that, where you just have two teams who are like assaulting, except you're not building up a base. You just have characters that are trying to like assault the other person's base. I don't know.
It's Braveheart the game.
Yeah, kind of. I have friends who are super into it, but not me. Yeah. So the next idea was a driving game, sports driving game, using memory mechanics. What would that even be? I don't know.
I don't know, but I know I wouldn't like it.
I also don't think, like, imagine like playing Rad Racer or Forza, except you have to blindfolded and you have to remember which way to go. I don't know.
I'm sure someone has done that.
Let's not do that. The next one is another Metroidvania, but in the strategy war theater of gaming with press your luck and maze mechanics.
Yeah, what does that mean? What's the strategy? Let's start with what's the strategy war Metroidvania in your mind?
So a strategy war. So when I think of a strategy war game, I think of like Panzer General and hexes and old computers where you have, you're reenacting a battle from World War II or something, or Risk.
I don't think I've ever played those games. Okay.
Imagine Risk, but as a video game, but as a Metroidvania. Maybe when you reached certain hexes, you unlock things that make your characters more powerful. And the press your luck is, that's a mechanic that's in more than just video games, but it's gambling basically.
It's I've got a shot at this. Let's see what happens. Yeah. It's not a high shot, but if I do this, it puts me in a really good place. But if I don't,
it's high.
I'm probably going to lose.
High risk, high reward. Kind of thing. Well, we just played together that board game Can't Stop.
Which was really
Can't
fun.
Stop is a press your luck game where you're like, I'm rolling dice, I'm whittling down which dice are valid, and if I keep rolling those dice, then I keep improving. But if I don't roll one of those numbers, then I lose all my progress. That's press your luck.
I also found that fascinating in a like just human psychology standpoint, watching like your approach to those versus mine, I am so much more cautious. I'm like, I'm good. I did what I wanted. And you're like, nah, I can do this. Let's keep going.
I think when the stakes are low, like we're not playing for money, no one's gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm more willing to gamble.
I also had some really good runs in that one, which was like, I'm not going to stop.
You did. Well, ever since we played that, I downloaded a mobile version of it, and I've played it several times.
Ooh, they have
and the AI is... They have two different AIs. They have a safe AI and a normal AI. And the safe AI, I think, is you, and the normal AI is me, but less reckless. And then they have risky AIs, but you have to pay to unlock them. And they're probably like me that one time where they're just like, let's shoot the moon, man.
Let's do it. I'm losing. Yeah. I like those for when there's a disparity in how well you're doing, like in a multiplayer game. Because if you're way behind, you're like, screw it. I'm going to press my luck. I'm going to go hard.
Exactly.
It's like, I either do this or I lose anyway.
Exactly.
So,
why go big or go home?
I like that aspect. Yeah.
And then
a maze in your strategy ward Metroidvania. Yeah, I mean that part kind of speaks for itself, I think.
So I don't know. I mean, I've never really been super into like hex based, war reenactment strategy games, which is what I think of. But also, like it wouldn't be twitchy. I think making something like that would be easier than making something that's twitchy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like twitchy games. I'm not twitchy, or I'm too twitchy. Depends on how you view it.
Well,
I'm too reactive, and like so twitchy games, I hit things too much, and I just get frazzled.
And I think it's easier to do a non-real time game because you can handle the state way easier than if something's just on an event loop and systems are constantly going, like the variables just explode. So I don't know, maybe. Why don't you talk about the next one?
Text adventure.
Oh, no, you skipped the Zelda.
Oh, I did skip one.
You put that one in there.
Fallout themed Zelda-like 2D. I did. Action adventure.
I love that
This
idea.
is just something I've had in my head for a while.
Oh my God.
Right? It's like I love Zeldas, the 2D style ones in particular. I just think it's a really fun way of doing it, and just theming it a certain way is because we were talking Fallout, or like the thing that I was talking about earlier with the fantasy world that I'm creating for Daggerheart, right? Like just throwing a Zelda like into that style of world, I think is fun. But otherwise, it would just basically play like that. I also find that Zeldas, are often very sword based for reasons that make sense. And sometimes I want a different shoot from afar mechanic.
Well,
I also really like the Fallout thing where you can shoot real time, but also you can be like, Pip-Boy, target that part right over there. I like that balance, and I like that trade-offs you have to make. Like, am I willing to spend this resource on this thing right now?
But playing Fallout 3 again recently, I am reminded of how kind of revolutionary that system was. Because I do both. I real-time shoot, and I also like, wait, no, I need to be more strategic about this.
Well, and it depends on the enemy, right? You got a simple enemy, you're done,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it's what do they call them? Death claws?
I have not seen one yet, but yes.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be very smart about how I attack that one.
Yeah.
And I also like the percentages that show up in that, but that's a different thing altogether.
Yes. But as soon as you put this on this list, I immediately was thinking of like a Link to the Past, but as Fallout, like Fallout themed Link to the Past. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. I would like to make that kind of thing.
Because the original Fallouts are isometric, 2D games, but that's different.
It is.
Than the action adventure style. And I like the action adventure style of things more, unless you're doing a mobile game.
Right.
Mobile games I don't think should be action-y because they're too hard to do that way.
And that's one of the things we have to figure out is what platform we're thinking about doing this, because they have different affordances. And I'm also thinking about like a Link to the Past, but Fallout themed, and also having that time stop strategic mechanic. So you can real time attack enemies, but also if you need more time to think, you can stop time and do a percentage based thing. That sounds like a scope problem, but it sounds super fun to work on. So I don't know. I've bolded that one because I like that. Yeah. All right. So another one that I put on here was just a text adventure, but with crafting, dexterity, and survival mechanics. You and I have both played and worked on text adventures. I've never had any crafting in it or survival, but we both like the survival idea. That would be an interesting thing to have, like a Fallout themed text adventure. There's another idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because Fallout 3 definitely started with some crafting. Well, not really. I mean, it had the idea where you could have a weapon, and if you had another weapon, you could kind of like use it to repair the other weapon. But I think in Fallout 4, they actually added real crafting mechanics. So that would be interesting to put in a text adventure.
I could see that kind of like a mud, would even work there. The thing I like about MUDs, multi-user dungeons, was you could play it completely solo, but also other people were around sometimes, so it added a little bit of variability into it. And the systems I tended to play MUDs on, there weren't very many people around, so there's never very many people.
MUD with crafting, and I don't know about the dexterity thing. The problem with the dexterity, once again, this came from a random script, is kind of working at odds with a text adventure.
Text adventure.
So I think I might remove
Dodge.
Well, I mean, you could have that in the battle though. If you're fighting enemies, there's a slight dexterity. Like if you happen to press a button or move at the right time, maybe you don't get hit this time, or you get hit for less. So actually, I'll leave that in there.
So almost like an action-y text adventure game. So it's not completely like I say a thing, you say a thing, I say a thing.
There's a little real time.
That would be interesting.
That would be. All right, I'm gonna italicize that because that's at least interesting.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you do the next one?
I don't know what this one means. Action adventure is your typical Metroid or Zelda type games where you're both exploring, so you're on an adventure, but it's also actiony because you're shooting things or swiping at them with swords. And then hidden image stealth. So the stealth part of that is obvious.
Yes.
And I like that. Stealth Metroidvania, stealth Zelda's awesome. Fun games. They exist, although they're rare. Hidden image. I'm not even sure what that would mean in that context. So that's the ones where like you have like an image and you're trying to find things within the image. Is that what that is?
I think that is, yeah. I'm looking this up because I made this random thing a long time ago. It's a subgenre of puzzle video games in which the player must find items from a list that are hidden within a scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an image search.
So it could be, actually, so that actually makes a lot of sense.
It does?
Okay. So you've got, I can totally do this. So you get this list, and you're a spy, and you have to go find these things. And it's a hidden image thing, but instead of just point and click, you have to navigate your character to it. And there's like guards and stuff wandering around.
Wow. Okay, I like this idea of taking these random thrown together things and trying to make them work. This is fun.
My number one skill in improv is justification.
Well, you just
Like, how would this work?
Okay, so I think that was easy mode. Try the next one.
Trivia and squad management. Okay, what does squad management mean to you? Because I have an idea in my head of what that means.
So basically, I think of like a Tom Clancy, like Rainbow Six game, where you have a bunch of people and you're coaching or managing, like telling them, whether they should be aggressive, defensive, go this way, go that way. You're not actually controlling them. You're managing them.
Yeah.
So
if you're gonna do it as a trivia game, trivia games are supposed to be your knowledge versus the computer. I guess you could have these things go out and seek out knowledge for you, and report back. Maybe, make them like little AI agents that actually go and search the web. Like you're like, I need to know more about sports. Go find me some interesting tidbits and hope that maybe they'll line up. Again, as part of the squad mechanic, there could be a spy. They have to go spy on the quizmaster to figure out what questions are coming up, so you could try to get an edge.
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
I'm like, I don't know. That's a weird combination.
I know. No, but I like the idea of this being like a competitive, not multiplayer competitive, but like you're in a trivia like death match against some corporation, and the only way that you can win the trivia game is you have to use your squad to get an edge on the other players. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Post-apocalyptic trivia, Rainbow Six.
Running Man trivia.
Oh, man. Okay.
Speaking of which, I got to say the new Running Man movie actually looks like it's it actually looks kind of
I haven't seen that. It doesn't have Schwarzenegger in it, does it?
No.
Wasn't he in the original?
It's got...
okay.
Yeah. No, it's got some young guy who's been in a bunch of things and whose name I can never remember. Okay. Although he's not as young as I think he is. The next one is Metroidvania roguelike with coaching. And by coaching, I think it's, again, kind of what we were just talking about with squad management. I picture a Pikmin for this.
Okay.
But a Pikmin where you can, instead of you throwing things, you're giving them control. So in Pikmin, you've got like the different Pikmin that you pick are different colors, and that gives them slightly different abilities, right? Like red ones can't get burnt, blue ones can't drown, things like that. Yellow ones fly further and are immune to electricity. Rocks hit hard, right? Those kind of things. And they have a 2D side-scrolling Pikmin, which I really wanted to be more Metroidvania-like than it was. But I could see doing something like that and then actually having it be like where these things can go off and do stuff for you, right? You're stuck. Right? You've gotten in an accident and you've broken your leg, right? You can't leave your spaceship.
Yeah.
It's that Will Smith movie with his son in it. But instead of your son, it's you find like a Pikmin type thing, you pluck it out of the ground, and it's like, and you're like, go find more of you, and then it goes and gets them, and like it could start to spread out. So kind of like an RTS, I guess, but somehow Metroidvania-y. Like you need to. Oh, I want to get like you follow them around with the camera, and you're like, oh, we want to go up there. How will we do that? We need more throwy ones. Go build throwy ones for me or something. I don't know. There's something there.
There's something there.
I just really like Pikmin. I love I have a just torrent of
Excellent
of
word.
little creatures that I can throw at a problem, and they do the work for me. A squad, I guess, but I like torrent.
I mean, maybe that's why the idea of AI has finally clicked with you, because it's like that. You're saying, here, interns, go do this thing while I do these other things.
One of my favorite things I ever wrote was for an AI class originally, and then I just made it my own thing, which was it was doing an ant colony algorithm, which is just like a shortest path type thing that uses sort of AI, but it uses that emergent properties of a bunch of little things doing their own thing, and it followed the way that ants lay down chemical trails to find food as the way it did it. But I just sort of turned that into like a really pretty screensavery thing by doing a pixel map based on the scents in different places. And then I would drop food in them, and then like I could just watch like the colors spread out and then refine.
You don't still have that
It was really
script,
fun.
do you?
My computer could. I
wish you had that.
I probably could find it.
I would.
I did it in Pygame. So
Please look for that. I would love to see that.
Yeah. What I can say is it dragged my computer to an absolute crawl when I got to a certain number of too many ants.
Yeah, but probably not now.
Kill it.
It would probably run fine now on modern hardware.
I think I could probably write that pretty quickly, like just a general version of it.
That's cool.
In Pygame.
I like that.
Yeah.
So the other one that I added recently, and this was not from a script, was a simulation game of either a bike or e-bike, electric bike. I'm really into electric bikes. I've got 3 of them. I've never done a simulation game, but I've loved playing things like SimCity and Sim whatever in the past, and it would be kind of interesting to just as an exercise to see how to model a bike, and how it works and the whole all the physics of it. And I mean, I'm sure there's probably a game in there somewhere, but I'm more kind of interested just in the mechanics of it because I've never tried to do something like that. So I put that on there.
Yeah, that gave me an idea of a woodworking simulator. Like I like the idea of learning things by playing a game. Like I know a lot about ants because of Sim Ant.
Yeah.
I loved Sim Ant. I thought that was the coolest game. Yeah. And it's a bummer that I can't actually play it, a good version of it anywhere, because none of them do it right. But yeah, simulations of our own hobbies.
Yeah,
Yay.
that could be interesting. And then there was one more that you put on the...
Yeah, so I thought of this in the middle of the night last night, which was originally my idea was darts, but Balatro, right? Or Balatro, but darts, I guess more accurately. But I'm like, what would that look like? And then when I was trying to figure that out, I realized that would work better with billiards. So pool, because then you can have like different tables that you unlock, and you can have different balls and cues that you unlock, and like they do different things. And aiming a cue is still a manual process because the darts, I've played basically like slingshot approach style on mobile games of darts, so there's still a way to do that too. But like, so there's a skill based aspect of the Balatro as opposed to like trying to build up a good deck. It's your skill, but you get enhancements by these unlockable things.
Yeah. I mean that
I don't know. There's something in there. I just don't know how it works.
Yeah,
yet.
but the it definitely has some. It affords unlockables really nicely. So that's cool.
You could do a whole pub game series in there. Have Shut the Box. Somehow.
Oh yeah, you got to bring that back, man. Should we just do that? Should we just remake Shut the Box?
Shut the Box 2. More boxes. More shutting.
Shut all the boxes.
Less the. Yeah.
Equal amount of the.
So I think we have a lot of really cool ideas in here.
But ideas are just one. That's just the beginning, man. We gotta.
So I think.
How do we figure it out?
I think the next thing is to start playing in the game engines.
Okay.
And like just trying to make something. So I have played around with a lot of game engines in the past. I don't like most of them because I'm a software developer and I want things to work the way I want them to work. I want to write code to do everything, which is why I like Pygame. I don't like things. But I have used Godot reasonable bit, and I think it's a good combination of them, and it's free.
Okay.
So I was thinking we should play around in some frameworks or languages for next time. Just grab one and try to build something in it just to see like what we like.
Okay.
Like, I've tried Godot. Maybe you've tried Godot, and I try something else that I haven't tried, or I haven't revisited Pygame in a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see what that looks like today, and just like maybe pick one of the mechanics that we either like or have come up with here, and just see how close you can get to just like could you how hard is it to implement slingshot controls, for example?
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll play with the darts thing and see if I can get somewhere. Because where I find things like this interesting is the iterative approach of like, okay, we have some mechanic and we're playing with it. What makes it fun, right? Like I could totally see having like I can see the design process for Balatro, like how something like that would happen for me if I was writing it. I would have written like a poker simulator and been like, ooh,
Wait a second.
what if? And then seeing how that plays out. So maybe our challenge for next time is just make a mechanic in a game engine and just see what we think of it.
And do a little compare
or
and
more if you feel
do
like
a little
more.
compare and contrast on our, because we have lots of ideas here. Now we just need to choose one and actually try to go somewhere with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think once we pick, if we like, oh, you know what? I really like working in this game engine. That's not a good one. That's not a good fit for XYZ. Okay, well, what about this thing? Or I really like this idea. Okay, but that game engine won't work, so let's pick a different game engine, right? Like there's some that's going to narrow our scope, because one of the things we have right now is we have too much that we can do. Narrowing it down. I really like the idea of the Fallout themed Zelda-like 2D. Like if we could, if that's in our wheelhouse to build, let's do it. Is it? I don't know. But I think that's. It honestly seems like it would be easier than a lot of the other ones.
Well, I mean, like the graphical style, like the user interface to this game really determines a lot of stuff. Like, are you looking at text the whole time? Are you looking at graphics? What are they, 2D or 3D? Are you moving an avatar, or are you just viewing a scene? What are you clicking on? Like, how are you interacting with it? Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So just like build a little sandboxy world, play around with a game engine. I think is our strategy for next time, and keep those three like bolded ideas that we have up there as like, okay, what do I test in this game environment? Let's see what it would look like to. Like I think I'm going to try out slingshot controls, so I think that would work for both Angry Birds Metroidvania and darts.
Yeah.
Darts Latro. And then just to see like what that's like, because eventually we'll narrow it down and we might be like, none of these. But getting our hands dirty, I think, will help us make choices on where to go.
Because and I think we're both very similar in that we experiment and we learn what we like and don't like by just messing around with stuff. Like I can't just think about Godot and be like, do I want to use that or not? Or look at these. I have to start typing things into a box and hitting build and see, did that whole experience, did that bring me joy, or was this a pain and I want to do something else right now? Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? You have like actual games that you've created that are
I do.
And are those, is what you have there, the framework you're using, is that something that could be adapted to any of these? I don't know enough about them. Like that would be another thing to just like, how would I do this? And I think that's really what I want to do next. Like, how would I even go about doing that in practice? And then like we try and probably don't succeed or don't get very far in a week. But come back and then talk.
Yeah, I think I'd like to mess around in Godot because I've never really messed around with that. But I would challenge you to mess around in Pico 8.
I have, and I really didn't like it.
What about? So I'm curious. What did you not like about it? The constraints, or?
Yeah, I think so.
So
it was like I liked the idea, and then in implementation, it was very frustrating to use.
So the only reason that I like Pico 8 is because it was very good. Because of the constraints, I was more guided in what I tried to do. If I just like open up Unity or, even Godot, there's a lot of space to try to wrap your mind around. Whereas like Pico 8 was basically like opening up VS Code, except it also had these loops. And if I hit go, it would just start a game. But if
I'll tell you what. I will try it again because I played around with it a little bit. I'm like, this is really annoying to use, and then I stopped. But I'll bet there's quality of life things that I could put in place, like not having to write it in their text editor.
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely write Pico 8 in your own text editor. If you try to
that font is abysmal.
If you try to write it in their little box of
Yeah. So I'll play around that. I'll try out trying to just make a character move around the screen like it would in like a Zelda in that. See how much work that is.
Yeah.
And I might also play around with doing with trying to find like my old Pygame code and see if I can throw a thing in there just because I haven't touched that in over a decade.
I think just because you've done Pygame stuff and I haven't, I will also try that out because I've never tried Pygame and that sounds interesting. So
yeah. I think for us to build a game, our smartest choice will be to use an actual gaming engine like Godot or something. Probably, especially if we want to get it on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's play and see what we like.
I think that's great. All right.
Cool.
Well, this is a good check-in. I think, we talked about, the stuff that we talked about last time. We have it kind of formalized into a document so we at least have a reference point, and we have some actionable items to do between now and the next time we check in. And I think that's something I've learned that, it's not a deadline. It's kind of right in the middle of nothing and hard deadlines. Actionable items is like, we talked about a bunch of stuff. We're going to leave. What do I do now? And we have actionable items, which is check out a framework or a game engine and try to do one of these ideas. So excellent.
Even if you only get halfway because it's too much work, that's also still useful.
Exactly.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
So.
Because I think, one, figuring out what we're going to build this in and what kind of platform we want it to be on is going to filter this list a lot and give us better direction. Because right now we've just got a huge space and we got to whittle that down. So, all right. Excellent.
Exactly. Cool.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Hacking the Grepson, where we check in on our Let's Make a Game project. It continues afoot. Apace. That's what it is. Continues apace. If you want to listen to our previous episodes, you can go to hackingthegrepson.com. I think we're just going to continue to try to put out these check-ins on Wednesday like usual, whether it's every week or every other week. I don't know. It depends on what we get up to. I mean, we did talk about that offline. Yeah. Do we want to make this like a recurring weekly thing where we just, no matter what, we just check in and talk about what's going on?
We could, and then probably just have shorter episodes out of it. Just be like, "Hey, what did you do this week? This. What are you gonna do next week? This." Okay.
So we're turning the the podcast into a stand-up, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Without the agile.
Yeah. Exactly. Now I'll be the scrum master.
Okay. No, I'll be the scrum master. No, we need to make a game that decides who is the scrum master. That's what we'll do. Okay.
There you go. Agile, the game.
No. Okay, but until the next time we check in with you, we now return you to your regularly scheduled lives already in progress.